Hello and welcome to Smiling Souls. This is Stephanie Keenan Ray. How you doing today, Wendy?
Hey, doing well. We're back.
I know, thank
Oh
goodness.
my goodness. What was that? 3 weeks? Four? I don't
Yeah,
even know.
we had a big break of recording. We got to take some summertime and relax, but we feel like we haven't seen each other's faces in forever.
I know. We finally had some time to just see each other and we missed each other and here we are. We're back. Yay.
Yes, back to have some fun with you guys.
Mhm.
So what you want to do? Oracle cards? You want to jump right into it? Okay.
Yeah. You want to go first, Steph? You want me to go first? Doesn't
Why
matter.
don't you do you, and then I'll go,
Okay.
and then you'll pull one for our guest.
I will for Cathy. Absolutely. So this is the one that I was guided to pull. Build on your foundations. I keep
Nice.
getting this, which is interesting. Transform through wisdom. And so I will just highlight the thing that nailed it for me. It says, the very last paragraph, reflect on how you have grown in your life, all you have learned, and all you would like to accomplish. Because what's been coming up for me is, my goodness, I still have more to learn. I
Mm-hmm.
still have more training to do. Okay, great. Let's do that. And also, let me look back at where I was not so long
Mm-hmm.
ago
Right.
and what a different woman I am now.
I
So,
know.
more
Just within
training,
the year of us recording.
right? Are you noticing that too?
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anyway, yep.
Okay. Cool.
What'd you pull?
I got clairsentience.
Ooh, it's a
Mm-hmm.
gift.
So it's Archangel Raguel.
Mm-hmm.
Notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance.
Yeah.
Please honor your feelings. Don't be afraid of deep emotions or intense feelings. I can help you distinguish between your own feelings and those of others. I'll also help you clear any energies you may absorb. I'll guide you towards people, situations, and places with clear and loving energy. Your repetitive emotions and physical feelings provide important information. So please notice and follow these feelings. They're answers to your prayers. Ask me for help to translate confusing messages so that you can clearly know which steps to take. Working with Archangel Rigel. Like an air traffic controller, Rigel oversees angels and archangels, ensuring harmony, cooperation, and order among them all. In this way, he'll help you sort all your feelings and enable you to notice, understand, and follow them.
Mm, yeah, I love that. Like an air traffic controller.
Right? We
Those
need a
angels.
few Rigels in the real air traffic controller land.
Just a few? If you could all hop in now, that'd be awesome. Okay. And now, so Cathy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards and you tell me when to stop the shuffle. And so Cathy has chosen my deck of cards, the Whispers of Aloha. Because why not?
Stop.
Ooh. Bottom or top?
Stop.
Ooh. Sage Advisor. I get this one a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Seek the guidance of lived wisdom. And so, what does the bookie book say? What does the bookie book say? 35. Oh my God, I went right to it.
Perfect.
Dang. Turn to someone who has information, understanding, or has experienced what you are facing. Hard-won lessons bring knowledge, compassion, and a robust value system. When seeking the support of an elder, recognize the wisdom and experience that has formed their resolve. As a person ages, their ability to process new information may be slow, but aging does not affect reasoning or intelligence. Maturity brings insight and the ability to make discerning choices. The lived experiences of others can offer you a broader perspective. Like visiting someone with a time machine. The stories of an elder can transport you to another world. It can be fascinating to listen to their trials, tribulations, and achievements. You might find some pearls of inspiration or something to ponder. You might also be reminded of what is important for today and your tomorrows. A beautiful woman smiles with happiness. Her neck is adorned with a shell lay. These shells represent transcendent wisdom and enlightenment.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Are you a sugar junkie or carb addict who is sick and tired of being sick and tired? Do you feel sluggish at certain times during the day? How about your clothes? Have they become a little snug? Are you an emotional eater? So you understand that you need to eat healthier, but you might not know where to start or what healthy food even means. It's all a bit overwhelming. Well, never fear. Coach Ingrid is here. She will teach you how to kick the sugar cravings, lose weight, and have the energy to do the activities you love. She will work with you on achieving your goals, one step and one bite at a time. All right. So it is our pleasure to welcome our guest, Cathy Derksen, to the podcast today. Cathy is the passionate founder of Inspired Tenacity, an international speaker, publisher, and 19-time #1 best-selling author. Dang. Congratulations.
Mhm. Right?
Oh my goodness. After reimagining her own life in her 50s, Cathy discovered her mission to help midlife women embrace new possibilities and boldly share their stories. She believes that authorship and community are the keys to true impact, both for the storyteller and the lives they touch. Through her multi-author book projects, retreats, and vibrant community, Cathy has helped over 200 women become published authors, amplifying their visibility, expanding their business, and building lasting legacies. Her programs are more than platforms. They're launching pads for purpose-driven transformation. Cathy lives by the mantra, do what makes you come alive, and brings that energy into everything she creates. When she's not mentoring women to stand in their power, I love that, you'll find her recharging in nature, soaking in the inspirations around her. So we would love to welcome Cathy Derksen to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to update that bio, just this week, I hit 20 bestsellers. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm definitely kind of celebrating that this week. I still can't believe that, but yet we're at the big 2-0.
That's awesome.
That's amazing, Cathy. Congratulations. 20.
Yeah.
20 books. And many of them I'm just one of the authors in other people's books.
Right.
Mhm.
And then 7 of them so far are my projects.
Wow.
Wow, girl. Okay. So this came up when I was reading your bio. In your 50s,
Mhm.
you shifted. And so what happened? What was that moment for you that shifted everything, that put you now where you're at?
Well, the first shift was actually in my 40s.
Okay.
So when I was about 47, my family was involved in a fatal car accident that luckily my family was physically okay, but not so much for others involved. And as you can imagine, that became kind of a turning point in kind of reflecting on life. And it really kind of gave me that wake-up call that, I'd been living in a toxic, abusive marriage. I'd been working a job that was a very negative place to be. And it just kind of all came to me that, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. And so I started on my path of figuring out what is it that I'm supposed to be doing and what are the gifts that I'm here to actually bring that I'm clearly not at that time. And so that is when the journey began. And so went through a divorce, had two teenagers with me at the time, found a new home, started all over. In the middle of all that, I left my career behind, my career of 25 years, started a completely different career. And then, yes, I was about 57 when I decided that career still wasn't the exact right answer and
Yeah.
decided to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that is when I started all that I'm doing now. So, yes, so made some big changes at a time in life when most people think they should be slowing down.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God. I wonder if there's something to the age 47, age 57. Geez, what's going to
Right.
happen 67?
That's
Mhm.
right. We'll be rocking it.
Oh, indeed. I feel like looking up, like, are those angel numbers?
Oh, good
Probably.
question.
Just wondering. Anyway. Uh,
Wow.
I know. Steph, what do you got? There you go, something.
Yeah. So tell us how you got into these book projects and what the
Yeah.
Yeah.
impact is of those book projects.
Yeah. I always like to say that if you'd asked me 5 years ago if I was going to become an author and get into publishing, I would have laughed at you because there was nothing in my previous goals or experience or any of that pointed in this direction. And
Mhm.
it was in 2019 that I got involved with the first book that I did. And at that time, I was working at a bank. I, had just doing my job. But I literally felt this calling that my story needed to be in this
Mhm.
book. There was a local group of women here that had been doing a few books before that, and I'd been aware of their books. And, like I said, never felt anything like, oh, I should do that.
Mhm.
And then this one book came along. It was called Emotional Intelligence, Mental Health Matters.
Mhm.
And that was after I'd come through the divorce, of total career change, moving, helping my teenagers get their own life back on track. And I just felt that my story could help other women going through similar things. So that was like the whole, like I said, it was literally this feeling of you must do this now.
Mhm.
And I didn't know where this came from or why it was suddenly, but it was that, yes, this is what you're supposed to do now. So, and when I did that one, I thought I would just do that one, go on with my life. And next thing I know, I found that there was almost a therapeutic part of putting your story on paper and just releasing it out in the world with this, like knowing it will impact somebody, but having no idea where
Mhm.
it's going or who it's impacting. And I just kind of fell in love with that whole process. And part of it too is the community that comes together. So every book kind of has its own community. And so next thing I knew, I had done 3 books with that same group.
Oh my gosh.
And then I started getting invited into other people's books and speaking opportunities and just different communities. And I like to say that everything I'm doing now is all because of the books I've been in.
Mhm.
All of the communities, all the networks, all the, speaking opportunities, and just everything is directly connected to all the books that I've been part of. And yeah, I think it was around my 5th and 6th book that I was working on. And again, they were with different publishing groups now. And so far I've worked with about a dozen different publishers. But I was working on these 2 books at the same time. And one was fun. It was organized. It was just a great experience. And the other one was one of those, I hate to use the word nightmare, but it was really like, where'd she go? What's going on? Is this ever going to happen? It just kind of hit me as like, this should be fun. It should be accessible. It should be, something every woman has an opportunity to do in a pleasant experience.
Mhm.
And it just came to me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I am supposed to be bringing women together, building community, and giving them this opportunity to share their story. And
Mhm.
so I actually went to the publisher that I was enjoying working with and proposed a collaboration where I'll do the front end. So I'll come up with my themes and titles. I'll bring together my women from all over the world and help them get their chapters ready. And then I take the whole thing over to them and they do all of that publishing end. So
Yeah.
all the editing, proofreading, formatting, marketing, Amazon stuff. So I do the part I love to do. They do the part they're really good at, and it's turned into a beautiful collaboration.
That's awesome.
Holy cow. Okay, so just what came up for me, one of the things, Cathy, was first of all, you got this message. You need to do this. And you started with the first book and you thought that was it. Oh no. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And I just want to kind of like highlight this. And Steph, I think you've been in this space too, that like you just trust that, okay, I don't know what the next step is going to be, but I know it's going to appear and show itself at the right time.
Yep.
Right. And I feel like that's exactly what you're showcasing, Cathy, is. And so for our watchers, not
Viewers, listeners.
viewers, our watchers, no,
Our
our
peeps.
viewers and listeners, like, I feel like that's something to bring out. Like, if you have a calling, like, just trust. I know it sounds so easy, but it's hard. Okay, here's what I'm talking myself through this. Hang on. What would you guys?
Wendy minute here.
It's a windy minute. Sorry. So, like Steph and Cathy, what would you tell a woman who gets some kind of message like, do this, and she's like, I don't know, because I don't know what's going to come next and how is this going to work out, right? And all the stuff that enters our brains. What would you tell that woman? What would you tell her?
Well, I often get people asking, like, how do you tell the difference between like intuition and just other thoughts, or, squirrel syndrome? How do you know that it's not just another squirrel and that it really is intuition telling you that this is the right answer? And one of the things that I've noticed, and I have to admit, like over the last 15 years, I have gotten much better at actually listening to my intuition, noticing it and giving it that trust, like you were mentioning. And to me, how I sense the difference is there's a lightness. Like I literally feel like when it's the right thing, it feels light. Whereas quite often, if it's something flashy or if it's something scary, there's like a heaviness to it, or like just there's a hesitance there. And it is, something you need to practice. So it's not something necessarily that just you feel comfortable with immediately. But I would say the more you do it and the more you give it that trust, the more you start differentiating for yourself what that feeling is.
Yeah. I think one thing I've found is that if you ignore it, it just keeps knocking on your door.
Louder.
So, like there are certain things that were knocking on my door in my 20s, and I was just like, I don't have the money to do that. I don't, being sensible about it, right? Well, I continued to keep pursuing other things that eventually lead me down the path to do the thing, right? Yeah. So if it's something that you truly are meant to do, it will continue to put itself in your way. Yeah. And eventually you should say yes to it. And when you say yes, you'll be like, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? But at the same time, it's like, I truly believe that you're meant to do it at the time that it's right for you. Yep. So yeah, something might fall on your lap when you're 20, but maybe you're not truly formed enough to handle it the right way or to utilize it the right way. So when you tap into it later in life, that's not necessarily the end of the world. But you know me, I try to listen to my intuition. I'd say I'm better at listening to my intuition when it comes to people and things and places I should or should not be, versus like there's no question. If I feel something's wrong, I get out, I get away from that. Good move. But when it comes to a career or a a shift in that move. I mean, I've made so many moves throughout my thing. I am the like, I'm the entrepreneur of my relationship. So, my husband's just like, okay, I've gone with you on this journey. What are we doing now? You know what I mean? So there is that too.
I love
So, but it doesn't
it.
necessarily mean that it's the wrong thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know that I'm the person giving advice here, because
No,
I
this is
truly
perfect.
think you have to, I think when it comes down to it, yes, you listen to that intuition. But you also have to think about how it plays
Hmm.
into your world, how it affects those around you.
Hmm.
Because I've also known people who are just like, they just follow their intuition, they follow their lead from an angel and or guidance that they receive, but it kind of blows things up a little. And, sometimes that's right, but
Yeah.
sometimes they're literally like blowing their life savings in order to pursue this thing. And is that always the right
Well,
choice?
and maybe that's the lesson they were supposed to learn.
Maybe.
Hard as that is, maybe that's the lesson.
It just makes you think, like, did I actually hear right, or did I actually do
Hmm.
the right thing? That Because that's, I think that becomes the hard thing too then, because like if you jump into something and then you're failing, why are you failing? Is it that you're still not actually
Hmm.
tapping in fully, or is it that you're,
Hmm.
you know,
That's a great question to get
Mhm.
curious about
Right?
and maybe ask it differently. What's happening?
Yeah.
Not I'm failing, but what's really going on here?
Right.
And what am I not seeing?
What am I
Or
What
not
am I
seeing, or
not
how am I not
seeing?
helping people, or whatever it is they're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing, right? Because I think that's the hard thing is, and I think there's also a times where ego gets into the way.
Oh God. Go. Yeah.
You get a spark, you get an idea, you think it's the best thing in the world, you think everybody needs it, and you just keep
Oh
carrying on
man.
because of ego versus
Dang,
what's the
yes.
right thing.
I have been caught in that many times.
Hmm.
So Martha, she says, I told my ego to go out in the waiting room, sit in the beanbag chair, get a juice box, and just chill. And I love that. I'm like, yes, I need to tell my ego that a lot. Just go in the waiting room. Here's my phone. You can scroll on it, sit in that beanbag chair, and just have a party.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that's a huge one, keeping the ego in check in anything you do,
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That ego. Mm-mm.
well, even when I first started my kind of my journey towards becoming an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
Hmm.
the part that came to me that I was supposed to
Mhm.
do was that I was to be creating something that like created a true impact in the lives of women around the world.
Hmm.
That's a big
That
to
was kind of
do.
the mission I
Right?
got. Exactly. But when I first got that, I had no idea what it was about.
Right.
Like what am I supposed to do? And my first career change, I went into financial planning, thinking, well, this is how I can help women change their
Ah,
life. But
right.
after 10 years of that, that wasn't the right answer either. That I really
Okay.
felt I just couldn't address the real things behind, you
Mm.
know, the success women were trying to get. And so when I left and became an entrepreneur, I still didn't know exactly what it was, but I still had that mission that it was something that was a true impact in the
Yeah.
lives of women around the world. And this kind of
Hmm.
just echoed for me. And when I first started as an entrepreneur, I assumed, that I'd be doing kind of a coaching thing and thinking, well, life coach, money coach. And so
Hmm.
when I first started out, that was what I thought I was doing.
Hmm.
But again, trusting my gut, I still knew that wasn't the right answer. Like, so
Hmm.
keep looking, keep shifting. And so the books kind of came up in the middle of all of that after I had left my job and started this whole fire hose of learning as an entrepreneur. And so it's funny how, like I said, if you'd asked me if I was going to become a published author a few years ago, I would have laughed at you because there was nothing in my previous lives that indicated anything to do with
Right.
this path. And so when it did kind of come along in the middle of all this other stuff of, training to be a coach and figuring out what that was all about. And so it really was like, if I hadn't listened and thought, no, I'm here to be a coach, I'm doing this training, and
Right.
this is the direction I'm supposed to be going to help women. So if I hadn't actually allowed myself to listen and shift completely, then we wouldn't be here. I would still be in the sea of coaches with everybody else trying to figure out, why is this not working? Why is this not working? This isn't.
Yeah.
Cathy and Steph. Oh my God. Okay, hang on. I gotta share this with you, Cathy. Dang, we were all meant to come together today. Here's a message I got from the universe. Do you guys subscribe to messages from the universe? The universe talks.
Oh, with what's his name?
Mike Dooley.
Mike Dooley, that's it. Yes.
Part of what I captured, part of my inspiration today is the last paragraph of my message. So I invite both of you to take this as it's a message to you.
Okay.
You are the prodigal child. And a heartbeat, you're welcomed back into the fold. In an instant, you can be carried along by life's currents once you stop struggling against it.
I love it.
Once you stop struggling against it.
Mm-hmm. It's just like getting out of the riptide. Stop struggling.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. So tell us about how you help these women write their stories. Like, I want to know what it's like to work with you. Like how.
Yes. And it's kind of the way I am. I'm very kind of open and flexible, and find that, some groups have very rigid ways of filling these boxes. This is how you do it. Answer these questions. You're done. Whereas I like every chapter to reflect the woman who wrote that chapter, and to, reflect her style of writing, the message she wants to be sharing, how she wants to be sharing it. So in my way of doing things, I basically leave myself open to all of the authors to use as they need to. So some people like to do more chatting at the beginning and really fleshing out their ideas. Others just get this, I'm going to start writing and I'll send you drafts to review. But for those that really want that kind of help at the beginning of really fleshing out their story, I find that quite a few of them, part of it is around that feeling of, well, my story's not important enough. There's nothing big and flashy in my story. Like, what should I talk about? Or others that are like, I'm not an author. Who am I to think I can be in a book and get published? And so I find quite often those things are getting in people's way of really stepping into their story. And so quite often what we'll do is really just have that conversation where they'll tell me kind of more about their journey, what they've been through, what their childhood was like, what led them to what they're doing now. Like, what were those kind of moments when they pivoted or changed or had something impactful going on? And depending on what the theme of the book is, so every one of my books has a slightly different theme. And so I will help them kind of see what some of those moments were. And quite often it's around pointing out to them that sharing that story could be so impactful for other women who are going through similar things. And especially when quite often it's the feeling of being alone that really gets us stuck in a lot of our challenges. So the more we can see that other people have come through similar things, or, other people are helping people come through similar things, that, that's what will really help your reader, is that connection with your story. Whether it's something that many of us have gone through and this is just your experience with it, or if it's something very unique, it's that looking for that connection with that reader and how that will impact her life as well. So, and I find that there's quite often just this sudden spark of, wow, you're right. My story is impactful. It could help other people. And pointing out some of the the novelty in their story versus, others that might have similar stories, and just helping them to see that, no, your story is unique and it is powerful. And quite often what I've found too is that women will start in one of my books and they'll kind of realize that, like I mentioned, when I did my first, almost a therapeutic feeling of, putting their story on paper and sending it out in the world. And next thing I know, with quite often, they'll jump into another book and then maybe another book. And I've got a few women that have done 3 books with me now. And they're thinking, okay, what's the next one you got coming up? Oh, I like that. And that's how I got to 20.
That is amazing. And about how many authors are typically in a book?
Yeah.
With my books, I like to use 20.
20.
I find it makes a nice sized community. Some of the books I've been in, we had one book was 365 people. Another one was 150 people. But you never really meet anyone. There's no real connection with anyone. Whereas I find 20 is a nice number because we have group chats on LinkedIn where everyone can connect with everyone. We can communicate regularly. And actually that's the part that it's kind of been. It's funny, I've been hearing this message from a few different places lately that what differentiates a lot of my books is the community that we build among the authors in each book.
Yeah. I'm curious about that because you have mentioned.
And I bet that influences the through line in a way. Yeah. Sorry, I totally talked over you.
Dude. No, I picking up on what you just said, Steph, that through line, right? That is the difference. And I'm curious about your communities. So what I know is they're on LinkedIn, but what else? What does being in a Cathy Derksen community look like?
Well, LinkedIn is the main center point of the last few books I did. The first couple I did, we were mainly on Facebook. But I just realized over the last year or two that LinkedIn is where my people hang out. And so that's where we've been focusing mainly.
Okay.
And so, like I said, each book has its own pod or its own conversation. And even books that I released 2 years ago, those women are still talking in their group. We've had women from Canada meet up in person with people in Australia. All of my books are international. So one of the books that I'm just working on right now is called Inspired Metamorphosis. We've got women from Dubai, Switzerland, Germany, Australia, all over North America. There's a woman in Lebanon looking at joining us. Some of my previous books, we've had women in South Africa. So literally they can be from anywhere around the world. And so a lot of our communication and our activity is through LinkedIn, but we also do group Zooms where they can actually be together in our little space and introduce themselves and get to know each other. One of the things I've just started adding retreats into what I'm doing so that we can get together. So in January, we did the first one. We had a billboard in Times Square with one of the books.
Okay. Yes, I remember you saying that on Jen's call with the.
So we're doing that again in November.
Oh my gosh.
The first time I did it, it was just for one book. So it's just the authors in that one book. But now this time that I'm doing it, there's 4 different books from my collection that are all coming together.
On the one billboard.
Well, there'll be different pages of the billboard. So,
nice.
Oh my gosh, in Times Square.
Exactly. So we're going there for like a 3-day retreat. So we'll have, welcome events. We'll do our billboard with a photographer. We'll have masterminding. We've got a connection with a chocolate place in New York City. So we're going for a tour of this chocolate place.
Oh yeah.
And so, and I find too, like after the last one we did, there's just so much kind of bonding and connection that comes from that time that we're just hanging out together.
Yeah.
And, whether it's dinners or evenings or, just that kind of thing. So the retreats are kind of that next thing I'm adding on and looking at the idea of creating like some writing retreats and some just fun retreats and that kind of thing too. And one of my kind of big goals is to do some traveling where I literally go around the world and see some of these people that are in my books. And maybe do like a little book party or a book signing somewhere, or just a gathering of sorts.
Steph,
Yeah.
just had a little idea for you and your creative writing and your arts and stuff.
Mhm.
What if you had a retreat? Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Because we all
Cool.
get ideas from one another. And Cathy, you just gave me a great one for Steph.
Well, I'm over here planning a Smiling Souls anthology over here with,
Well, that too.
Why
Why not do all of it?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I do too, that, since I'm always starting new projects, part of it is that I am open to ideas from people. So if you've got like a specific theme that you want, that we feel is broad enough that we could bring in 20 people to participate. Some of my books are men and women, but the majority are just focused on women. And one of the other things that I do is create a book that's embedded in a community.
What do you mean?
Like one of the groups I'm part of is called Leadership Global. She's got a community of, I think on paper, she's around 10,000.
Wow.
The groups that usually show up, there's, I'd say probably maybe 30 or 50 of us that show up at events, virtual things regularly. Yeah. And so we created a book that is focused on her community. So it's labeled and branded and titled for her community and filled with members from that group. So it becomes a great opportunity to spotlight the community, but then also to give the members an opportunity, to work as a community on something.
Yeah.
And to, become published authors, each of them. And with the nice thing is too, with the multi-author books, with our books, we hit international #1 bestseller through Amazon with all of our books. And that becomes a title that each one of those authors has now earned.
Yeah.
So you put that on your profiles, you put that on your website. And
it's amazing.
And these days, I would say, as an entrepreneur, it has become expected that we are authors. Yeah. And so if people are looking at like comparing business coaches or life coaches, and one has the word author in their profile and the other one doesn't, it's funny how just that word in your profile can make a difference. And if you're looking for speaking opportunities, like whether it's conferences or summits or podcast guesting, I'm not sure if you guys use that criteria at all, but for many, authorship puts you to the top of the pile as far as getting invited into these things versus not having author in your profile. So it kind of creates this big web of activity, and especially when we get to our launch time, now you've got 20 people from all over the world who are promoting the same thing. And so really you are being amplified into 20 communities around the world.
Dang, Cathy.
It's fun. I love it.
You've got it all figured out. That's freaking impressive.
I kind of grow and adapt, again, kind of following my gut. Like, does this feel like the right thing? Is this what people want? Is this a thing? So, but I've definitely realized that, again, kind of thinking of what our own gifts are. And two of the things that I know are me. One is bringing people together. So like and people keep asking me, how do you just find people all over the world that want to be in these books? And it's like, I just do. People just, I just do what I do. And the other thing that I've been told is that I create a space, a trusting space that people just naturally feel safe. And I think that helps them to kind of open up and share their stories. And again, those are, two things that are just naturally what I do.
Absolutely.
And so I think, this collaboration I have with my publisher kind of perfectly uses those skills that are mine. And I love how I've been able to put that divider up of, I don't do those things. I have no interest in learning
Yep.
all the details and technical side of publishing and marketing and all of that. I like to have someone who does those, and they love doing those things. And so
Right.
I do the part I love to do, they do the part they love to do, and it works beautifully.
Absolutely.
This
just
is
blown away.
freaking exciting. Like,
It is.
look at you using your gifts and following your intuition. Look at what can happen. It's like Steph and I, what we were talking about earlier, like getting guests to join our podcast has been easy.
You're attracting the right people.
It's not like that for every podcaster, I have learned. I didn't know that. But it's easy for us.
For us, this journey has been easy.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm sure we have our blinders of like what we don't know yet, but
I mean, you know, but we learn it as we go.
Part of it too
you learn
is
as you go.
that trusting that you will find the right people. And so that's the energy you're putting out, that the right people will come. I was on another podcast this week, and she was mentioning how when she first started and kind of told people what, level of people she wanted to have on her podcast, and she had people telling her like, good luck with that. You're just starting out. That'll never happen.
Oof.
And she's like, no, that's what I'm doing. That's going to happen. So I think that is a big part of it, that those that are feeling like it's hard,
it's going to be hard.
They've decided it's hard.
Yeah.
And so it is. Whereas you guys have decided the right people are coming. And so the right people show up.
What we decided was, as long as we're having fun, we're going to keep doing it. That's the bottom
exactly.
line.
That was literally the main rule.
That was the driving force.
That's a perfect.
As long as we're having fun, we'll keep doing it. If we're not having fun, we're done.
We're still having fun. Over a year later?
Yes. No. Well, we've been
September.
recording for over a year. We launched almost a year ago. 3 weeks from now we'll be.
Cool. I love that.
Are we going to have a party?
We should.
Yeah, birthday party.
We should have a proper
lunch day party.
We should just go live on Facebook that day or something on social, YouTube.
Can there be cake?
Of course there can be cake.
Okay.
Or you could do like a group Zoom and invite your guests back, and you can have a bunch of your guests together on a live stream.
Kathy, yes, thank you. And cake.
And cake. Yes. Tell everyone, bring your cake.
Everybody bring cake.
Bring a full-blown cake.
Or a glass of wine.
Yeah, whatever your treat is.
For a birthday party.
Yes. And hats and crowns and things.
Yes, and blowers too.
Blowers.
My dog wouldn't like that part, but
I'll give you no, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, you guys are silly. Let's see. What else do we need to know about Cathy? Tell us more.
There was a thing. That she's got a thing. Hang on. Besides the retreat, besides the books, I found something. Tell me if you find it first, Steph, because I can't see you guys at the moment. Oh, your gift, Cathy. Free downloads of many of Cathy's books and a free one-on-one session. We're going to share that in the show notes. But can you tell us more about that, Cathy?
Yeah.
So one of the things I also love about the publisher that I work with most of the time, my favorite publisher, is that after we've done our Amazon launch and we've hit our international #1 bestseller status, she then shares the PDF version of the book with all the authors. And they're able to share that in any way they want.
Oh, wow.
So what I've done, I have a page where many of my books, so all of the ones I've done with her, are the PDF copy is there for a free download. So that I can't remember. I think there's 5 of them on there right now. There might be 6 now. I'll have to go back and check.
That is so cool.
With that link, someone can go and get a download of a book that resonates with them. Tell me about the one-to-one consultation with you.
Yeah, and a big part of that is focused on those that might want to become an author. Like we were saying earlier, a lot of people, I would say the majority of people that come into my books do not identify as authors. They've
Mhm.
never published before. It's quite often not something they thought they would ever be able to do. And so, using that one-on-one time really to reflect on that. Like if somebody is interested in jumping into a book, and they don't necessarily need to be entrepreneurs who are promoting something with the book. Like I said, when I first started, it was all just about sharing my story, knowing that it could help other people. So really anyone who's interested in learning more about my books, learning more about what that looks like to become an author, can jump on a call and we can chat about all those kinds of things.
I love that. And Steph, did you see the through line between Cathy's talking to people that don't think they are authors and your creative arts and people that don't think they're artists? Just saying.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Maybe there
perfect.
could be a collab. You never know.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was like, I need to talk to Cathy later.
That's right.
Because
Someone who can
that's
do it virtually.
Yep.
yeah, that's a form of art, right?
It is.
I
Oh,
think
definitely.
writing a book.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny thing too, because I grew up always thinking I was not creative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not creative. I'm not a writer. I'm like all of those things. Like my career, my first career was in science. And so my brain was pushed to the you are a science person, you are not creative, you are not a writer. And now I think about it and I realize that everything I do now is creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, wow, this whole time I've been creative and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Steph, you've heard that a time or two, I'm sure.
I think I have that interesting mix. Like I'm not
Yeah.
like I love a little science.
Yeah.
I love creativeness. And I think, in you just talking about that, it just dawned on me how much I think there was a degree of Leonardo da Vinci was an influence that I didn't realize because he was a scientist and an
Yep.
artist and,
Right.
and I definitely respected that. Don't think I understood to the degree that he was a scientist, until I was an adult, but still it allowed me to think like, well, you can be both. You can do some, like I said, I used to call myself a Renaissance woman. So I think, I held strongly to that. Like, it's okay to have your hand in multiple buckets.
Well, it's interesting too, because the acronym of STEM
Mm-hmm.
for science, tech, engineering, and math,
Yeah.
it's evolving now into STEAM,
Yes.
where they have
Really?
added the A.
The arts.
And
Oh,
at
I
first when I
love
saw
that.
that, I thought, what the heck? We've always been us and them,
Mm-hmm.
But then I, really thought about it, and really there is no science without art.
Without creativity.
And creativity.
Nothing. You can't
Yeah.
build a bridge
Mhm.
without
Exactly.
designing it. You can't come up with a chemical reaction without that every part of science requires creativity and art.
Really
Mhm.
So it's kind of neat that they've added that. And because of my original career being in science, I also have a series of books specifically for women in STEAM, all of the above. So we're working on our third book right now that's specifically for women in the
Oh,
science.
That's so cool.
Tech
That's so
field.
cool. It's funny. I love science. And when I was a biology major, I didn't think I was creative enough to ask the right questions to be a scientist. I mean, I was really being a biology major just to go to chiropractic school, but that didn't work out because organic chemistry kicked my butt. But but there was part of me that was like, I laugh though because I think I thought I wasn't creative enough with the questions, and yet at the same time I was that person that was like, well, how do we know that that's what an atom looks like?
Questioning. No,
And now as an
in
adult,
medical
a lot of
genetics.
times I'm like, why aren't they taking it a step further? Why aren't they asking this?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's so funny.
Cathy, I'm just wowing. I'm looking at your books. Dang.
They're
They're
beautiful.
gorgeous. They're gorgeous. just looking at them, the titles are engaging and they want me to, they're calling to me. So
They want me to get them all.
That's right. You can download them there, or you can go to Amazon and get the real copies. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Holy
That's so
Are
great.
beautiful, nice books. And
I mean, that's
one of
just
the
gorgeous.
other reasons I like to focus on 20 people, because I find it makes a nice size book. That
Yes.
you got a
You're
nice
right.
size, and like smaller than that, just a skinny little brochure on the thing that no one sees. But yeah, so they make for a nice book, a nice size book. And yes, I
That
love
is
lots of color.
awesome.
You'll love the covers on the ones I've got coming out soon.
Yay.
Can't wait.
I love this. This was an amazing interview.
Really was.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been fun.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll make sure we put all the notes in the show notes. Grab your free copies of the book and connect with Cathy if that resonates. And we'll see you next time. Have a
Bye.
good one.
Thank you.